Hello, my name is Amy Kalin. We are here in Union Bridge at the Drug Awareness Expo. It is an event to bring awareness to kids through the elderly about the drugs that are on the streets in our towns right now. Everybody lives with someone, knows someone, is affected by drug use, and we felt we needed awareness, and we have speakers this evening and vendors that are full of information to help us fight this epidemic.
Our first guest speaker is Lauren Miles. She's from Children and Family Children's Services, and she's going to give a small presentation here this evening. So let's give her our added attention.
Tonight I'm going to tell you a little bit about what domestic violence is, what it's not, and what to do if you know someone who's in that situation. Domestic violence is a pattern of intentional abusive behavior that one intimate partner exerts over another as a way of gaining power and control. The key words here are pattern and power and control. You see there's not the word violence in the definition because it doesn't always consist of one person hitting another person or punching. It really consists of much more than that. Just to give you a few numbers here, 1 in every 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been victims of some form of physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime. So that means really everyone in this room may have been affected by domestic violence in some way. You might know someone, you might have been in a relationship and experienced this, or you may have just seen it on TV, but it really affects all of us. On a typical day, there are more than 20,000 phone calls placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide. So it's really, it affects everyone nationwide. 72% of all murder-suicides involve an intimate partner. So that's a pretty high number. Between 67 and 80% of women in substance abuse treatment are victims of intimate partner violence. This one was one that I just actually learned today. 54 individuals died in Maryland between July of 2013 and June of 2014 as a result of domestic violence. So that's in our own state, and I don't have numbers that reflect the past year, but that number is still very alarming. And so, what do you do if you're experiencing this or you know someone who's experiencing this? There's a lot of barriers. So that's why we're here tonight, because we have a lot of resources. We are the Domestic Violence Agency of Carroll County. And so a little bit of what we do is we offer case management services. Somebody can come in, meet with us, and just talk about their situation. They don't need to leave that relationship. They don't need to tell anyone that they're coming to see us. We can create a safety plan with them. Just talk about some of the things that they've experienced, even if they just have questions. We have a safe house for clients who feel in danger of their intimate partners. We do court accompaniment and can go with someone if they want to file for a protective or peace order. We have support groups, education groups, so people can learn more about what's going on. We can also listen to other survivors who have experienced it. It can be a very isolating experience, so having other people that have experienced that can be really helpful. And then we also have a 24-hour hotline. Carroll County has its own hotline number, so I have cards and information in the back over there if anybody needs that number. And that is 24 hours. Somebody can call at 3 a.m., get in touch with a crisis worker, go into shelter, things like that.
So, first, introduce yourself.
Perry Jones, the mayor of town of Union Bridge.
Can you talk a little bit about this event today?
Well, we feel that the drug and prescription drug problem is a big problem all over the United States today. Also in Carroll County, there's not a town, whether you're big or small, that is exempt of the problem. And we just felt that with our aging community and our young community, that we'd like to do something in town to make everybody aware of the problems that we have, not just with the heroin, but the prescription drugs that you may have in your home. And this is an opportunity for people to come by, see what they have in their medicine cabinets that could be a very potential problem with, visitors coming to your house or your grandchildren or whatever coming in your house using the drugs that you have there that's available. Plus also that when you're out on the street, you're in your stores, your local stores, your drug stores, you see people talking about things knowing that it's a potential problem. And we just want to make everybody aware of the situation that's going on in Carroll County. And like I say, every town in the Carroll County or in the state of Maryland has problems, big or small. And we just want to try to get a handle on it, let the parents know, the grandparents know what to look for. And if you see these problems, don't be ashamed to go and ask someone for help. Try to get it, if it's a family member, try to get them into a program where they can seek help and also make it better for them and also better for our community.
Is this the first Drug Awareness Expo in Union Bridge?
This is the first one in Union Bridge. My council person, Amy Cayley, and I got the idea from what we saw in Westminster. I think it was back in April or May. They had one at the Ag Center. That was a big county event. And so we thought that we would try to spread it out amongst the county, try to do one in Union Bridge. I know some of the other towns have done it, but we want to do something to show awareness to the people in Union Bridge and the surrounding area.
And hopefully this will be an annual event.
I think it's going to be a very good event, and it will probably be an annual event. And a lot of towns do the crime night out, which everybody's competing for the same night. We thought rather than doing the crime night out like it's in July, that we would do this later in the year and try to incorporate it with trying to get our school kids out and the parents.
My name is Staff Sergeant Aaron Edwards, and I'm here with the Maryland National Guard Counter Drug Program. Counter Drug is out at the Union Bridge Drug Expo. We're out here to bring out anti-drug information. Counter Drug has been taking our liking into helping with community coalitions. We like to go out and help any and all coalitions in the state of Maryland. We provide anti-drug literature. We try to provide any and all information that we have about how drugs can affect your body. We find it very important to let people know that soldiers are also here for them on this side of the fence as well. We don't just protect them outside the country, we are protecting them inside our own state. And hopefully tonight we'll be able to give out a lot of good information and help pull a lot of good resources together to help the people in Union Bridge and help do a lot of good today.
Our second speaker for this evening will be Staff Sergeant Aaron B. Edwards, Maryland National Guard Counter Drug Task Force. Aaron?
Thank you. As you said, I'm Staff Sergeant Edwards from Counter Drug Task Force. So what we're seeing here in Maryland is a growing trend of people gaining an addiction to heroin. So I'd like to talk about why this is happening. Heroin can addict you and get a grasp on your life the very first time. It's not like marijuana or even cocaine where they develop a habit. Heroin is very strong. It's life-changing. So when you try it for that first time, you're making, whether informed decision or not, you're making a decision to let this thing take a hold of your life. It takes a lot to break that. You'll never get that high that those first-time users feel back, but they'll chase it. and they'll chase it, and they'll chase it, and it will take them through, and their family members through all types of things. So, since we know it's social, we know that this is what our kids are doing to hang out, to have fun, we have to stop it by giving them the information that we have. The internet has a lot of stuff on there, but the internet all depends on how the person using it is the desired results they're looking for. If you're looking for bad stuff on the internet, you'll find it. Parents, if you're looking for good stuff on the internet, like good ways to talk to your kids about drugs, show them what it is, tell them exactly how it can hurt them, you have to do that because the kids are going to get the information that they need from each other. So, if we know our kids, they're going to hang with people, you have to watch who your kids are hanging around. If somebody seems sketchy, you need to really start taking a look into who your kid is hanging with. Because whoever your kid is hanging with, if they're doing something that you feel like is deadly for them, they're probably doing that with your child. They're not sitting in a room by themselves doing it. They're doing it together. And as a community, we have to reach together to educate. A lot of these kids have no idea that the stuff that they're doing, they think it's just because they're sniffing it. They don't think it's the same as hardcore intravenous drug use. But it is. When I used to speak about meth, when methamphetamine was becoming a new on the scene thing, they did the Faces of Meth. And what Faces of Meth did was it showed how quickly meth would destroy your body. Well, heroin can destroy your body, but see, the thing is, it doesn't have to get you to that point where you get to see yourself become an old heroin addict and break down and die. Heroin can take you out just like that. Heroin is a very, very, very strong drug. It will never stop being a strong drug. If we, as a culture, make sense. Everything doesn't make sense. Common sense is not common, we all know that. But if we try to look at it from a logical perspective, there's no reason that anybody should possibly want to use drugs when they know drugs will kill you, unless for some reason you are in fact suicidal. Could you say that if you know for a fact that if you did this, it's going to hurt you, you probably won't do this? The problem is, kids feel like they're invincible. Not me. Won't happen to me. So the challenge is now, while you're here, to get as much information as you can so that you can spread this information to the kids. It's never going to be a safe drug. There is no diet version of heroin. There is no safe version of heroin. Heroin will kill. Drugs will never be good for your body. They're not going to all of a sudden find a way to make them nutritious. You're not going to hear any weightlifter or bodybuilder say, yeah, I totally got pumped up today and did some heroin and then all of a sudden I went and saved the world. It's never going to happen. So it's up to us to teach them, because they don't want to hear it from us, but we have to tell it to them. And you might not want to say it to them, but you have to say it to them.
Good evening. I'm Frederick County Sheriff Chuck Jenkins. Some of you may live in Frederick County, right over the line in Union Bridge. So if you're a constituent of mine, welcome. If you're not, welcome also. But it's a privilege to be here. I want to thank the town of Union Bridge for inviting me, having me to talk about this issue, which really affects all of us, our families, our children, grandchildren. Let me be very clear. I don't know what's been said tonight already. I just stuck my head at the door. But I will tell you this, regardless of who has said what, heroin is the most destructive and the most addictive drug that we're dealing with out there today on the streets, not only in Frederick and Carroll County, but the entire Maryland region, the Atlantic region, and across the United States. I don't believe we've ever seen such an epidemic. And this drug situation has been cyclic since the 1960s and 70s. It's going full circle now, but a different demographic. The entire dynamic of heroin user has changed from the 70s and 60s when the flow of heroin is coming from Southeast Asia into the United States. That's changed now. It used to mostly impact and affect people in the inner cities. your lower socioeconomic groups, the drug user in the alley with the needle in his arm. Well, now in Frederick County, as I suspect it is right here, you're seeing heroin addicts from middle and upper middle class families dying in their homes with a needle in their arms. So the whole picture has changed. Suburban middle America is now impacted by this. Right now in Frederick County, the demographic of our heroin user, and we're tracking this through our overdose cases, between the ages of 22 and 30, middle to upper middle class, white males. That's our demographic in Frederick County, the overdoses. Maryland, just talk a little bit about the stats statewide. In Maryland in 2014, there were 578 heroin-related overdose deaths. Nationally in 2013, and I don't have any more current numbers, but these numbers come from the DEA, nationally there were 8,500 heroin overdose deaths across the country. When the numbers come out for 2014, it's expected that number will have increased by about 60%. That's an awful lot of people dying on the streets of America. The Middle Atlantic region, and someone might have asked a question about this, but the Middle Atlantic region, if you are going to get addicted to a drug, 75% chance it's going to be heroin. It's unbelievable for this region. Probable causes for the increasing number of overdoses. Number one, again, someone asked this question, the availability of heroin. I can go out here in 10 minutes and be back with all you want. The availability, the price, it's cheap on the street, much cheaper than your pills, your prescription narcotics. Again, I talked about the high purity levels of heroin, the addicts and the users switching from the pills to the heroin, people that just their bodies aren't used to it. The abusers are much younger than they were. The expansion of the Mexican heroin market into this country really increased the amount that is flowing onto the streets. Listen, when you're a heroin addict, you either kick the habit or you die. There's no in between. There is no in between. And you have to really want to break that habit. You have to really want to rehab and recover and get that treatment. So, that's pretty much what I've got to present tonight. And I guess, I say this all the time. The first use of heroin is a choice. Clearly, it's a choice. After that, you're hooked. It only takes one time. It's got you. There's no returning again. You're either an addict and you kick that habit or you die. So.